Western Illinois head coach Joe Davis. The team coming off a trip out and lost to Eastern Washington. This week they start their association play. They're going to host in-state foe Eastern Illinois on Saturday, ESPN Plus. So, Coach, just some thoughts about your team, and then we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, I mean, very disappointed certainly to head out west there in a game that we felt was very, very winnable. Felt talent-wise, we matched up very, very well with Eastern Washington, just really in all three phases. Uh, Certainly understood it was going to be a challenge. Just the first time this season for us, just getting on a bus and going to a hotel and airplanes and all that type of stuff. You never know exactly how student athletes are going to respond to that just in terms of their preparation and their rest and their focus and all those type of things. But went into Eastern Washington's home opener with a packed house and withstood a couple early punches, I think, in that game to kind of hang around and it certainly the game is never just down to one or two plays, but we look at the really a couple situations in that game that we didn't respond very well to. We get the ball down 21-17 with under 2 minutes to go in the first half, and this team, our offense has been a very, very good 2-minute offense and didn't get any points there. We punt to them. They have a big punt return and tack on a touchdown there right at the end of the first half to make it 27-17. And then in the fourth quarter, we make it a 6 point game. It's 37-31 with all the momentum in the world. And, we get a 40 or 50-yard screenplay wiped off the board by a holding penalty. So just a lack of discipline by our team and some pretty crucial moments there in a game that you were not going to have very much room for error. So it's a resilient bunch. We went out and had really an outstanding practice yesterday on Bloody Monday for our football program, and obviously excited to get going here with week one of conference play for us.
Thanks, Coach. If you have a question for Coach, let me know down in the chat, and I'll call on you. Barry, you're up first.
Hi, Coach. I wanted to ask you, after the Eastern Washington game, where has your focus been on defense this week?
I mean, it's tackling, I'm still very excited about our defense and the talent, the improvement that we've had on that side of the ball. But boy, I mean, we struggled to tackle. We gave up a lot of explosive plays because of a lack of tackling. And that's certainly a focus as we move into conference play here. It's just the techniques, the physicality, the leverage, the ability to understand the space that you're in and where your help is coming from a defensive standpoint and on special teams is really a focus for us on that side of the ball here, moving into this home game on Saturday.
With Eastern coming to town, what are the challenges of preparing for two quarterbacks who kind of do some different things?
Yeah, I think it's a big challenge. They had a bye week to probably try to maximize the talent of both of those players. We're very well aware of the talent both players possess and the challenges that they present to us. So yeah, we're going to have a great plan on defense, just in terms of how to react and respond when either quarterback is in the game or potentially both quarterbacks are in the game. We just faced a quarterback on Saturday at Eastern Washington that ran all over the place on us, and many times it felt like it was backyard football as he just kind of went sideline to sideline before he found a spot and hit us with some big plays. And it's certainly been our Achilles heel here on defense early in the season. It's just explosive plays, and especially last weekend, very, very detrimental. So big challenge for us on defense. We're aware of it, and going to have to work very, very hard this week to have an excellent plan against their offense.
Last one I had for you, Coach, is any injury updates? Avery or Damari or Peyton, guys you missed last week who may or may not be back.
Yeah, I don't have very many updates. Both of those players are day to day. Would certainly love to have them back this weekend, but can't really confirm that at this point. Both guys are working through practice and rehabilitation and things like that. Obviously, both players are very explosive, very dynamic parts of our offense that we need. We need to have back. So both guys are itching and ready to get back on the field, and certainly hope to have them back, as soon as possible.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Hey, thank you.
Go to BJ and then Caden. BJ, go ahead.
Thanks, Kyle. Hey, Coach, how are you?
Hey, good morning, BJ.
Hey, you guys had a chance to look at a lot of players in the four non-conference games. Will the roster get a little tighter and shorter going in, or did you have some surprises that you really want to continue to use and utilize?
Yeah, I think it's our staff has done an excellent job of developing this freshman class. You know, we knew that this freshman class was very talented when we signed them. You obviously don't know the rate of progression and development that each particular player has, but boy, we are really excited about these freshmen. So I think you're going to see more guys play on the young end. You know, obviously we've started some freshmen here early in the season. Those young men are going to continue to start for us. We have several other young men that are going to play a larger role really in all three phases here as we enter conference play. And I think the ceiling is really, really high for this class, and just each guy kind of develops a little bit at his own rate. But I think those guys, just in terms of speaking about the freshmen, are going to continue to add to our depth here for the rest of the season.
You kind of mentioned it with Barry, but I want to ask a little bit after four games heading into the conference season, are there things where you're pleased where you're at as opposed to just the frustrations of trying to get ready for conference play?
I'm not pleased to be 1-3. I'm not. I'll just be honest. I really looked at our schedule and thought coming out of conference play was 2-2 was very realistic. And that's no disrespect to any of our opponents. I really felt that, like I mentioned last Saturday, was a very winnable game for us, and we let it slip away late. So very frustrated with that. I think the team's frustrated with that. They know, the potential that we have here, and I do believe we have a championship type roster. We've got to be able to bring these guys together and continue to coach and inspire and mentor these guys to achieve, up to a championship level. So, yeah, I'm not pleased with our record right now. I certainly think there are some bright spots. I've mentioned our running back, Markel Holman. I do believe, when it's all said and done, he'll be one of the best running backs in this conference, just in terms of productivity. He really provides a spark to us on offense. Is a very physical player, very, very difficult to tackle. And I've been very, very pleased with that. I think our offensive line is starting to gel. We have faced a multitude of different types of defenses in terms of fronts and pressures and stunts throughout the first four games. And James Durant at center, I think, has really solidified us. Tyler Solzberger, our true freshman right tackle, has got as big a ceiling as anybody on this team. He's just going to be an excellent player here. And then Matt Montgomery, who played quite a bit of snaps for us, sort of as that 6th, 7th, 8th offensive lineman as a true freshman last year. We were able to retain his red shirt. Really, he's a guy that can play all 5 positions, and he's bumped to left tackle and done a nice job for us there. So excited about those guys. I've mentioned Don Paul Keith on defense, our true freshman corner. In terms of talent, he's probably amongst the most talented cornerbacks at this level in the country. Now, he's a freshman and he's still learning, and the game's a little bit fast for him, but boy, oh boy, really, really exciting player on the defensive side of the ball. And on the defensive line, I said it last week, I've challenged our guys. I watched, our 4 young defensive linemen on the practice field yesterday. And boy, are they great looking players. I mean, Jalen Nicholas and James Lee Jean Louis and Elijah Congolo and DJ Taylor and even Jalen Riven. I mean, we are big and long and twitchy, and we have got to get some production out of those guys. Those guys have got to be able to get to the quarterback. They possess all the talent that you want in length and speed at this level. And for us to have a shot this weekend, we're going to need that group to be really, really productive and create a lot of havoc, for Eastern's offense.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Much appreciated as always. See you this weekend.
You got it, BJ. Thank you.
Hayden, you're up.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
First question I have for you is, now with conference play on the horizon, how much more weight do these games the rest of the season apply to your team compared to or in contrast to the first 4 this year?
Yeah, I mean, they all matter. The next one's always the biggest game, but certainly, these games count. When you play FBS games, ultimately you do want to be competitive. You want to win those games. Ultimately, non-conference games, they do matter. They're all winnable in terms of how we view them from a preparation standpoint. But ultimately, in the OVC Big South, the winner gets an automatic bid to the playoffs. So these games really matter now in terms of wins and losses. As the weeks progress, we're all now playing each other. So the comparable opponents and film certainly start to marry up and match up, and you can see, where team strengths lie. But, as I tell our team all the time, it's about us, it's never them. And, we've got a lot of work to do here over the next 3 or 4 days to prepare for an excellent Eastern team coming in here to Hanson Field on Saturday.
Yeah, and you used to coach at Eastern. Is there any extra motivation playing Eastern, your former team, or is that really not a big thought in the back of your mind?
Yeah, there's no extra motivation. We're looking to win this game regardless of the opponent. We respect every opponent that comes in here, but we fear nobody. Have a ton of respect for Eastern. I've mentioned that many times. Coach Wilkerson, consider him a great mentor and friend, and he's an excellent football coach. And as a program with him at the helm, they'll always be about the right things, doing things the right way, which is certainly what we're about here as well. So a lot of respect for them. But my past with that university and program really has no bearing on this football game at all.
All right, that's all I have. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, one more and I'll let you go. These two programs have played dating back to 1930, but in the past 20 years, not very many times. Now you're in the same conference you played last year. Just the importance of a long-standing rivalry getting to be back to being a yearly rivalry now.
Yeah, I've said it before. I love it. I think it's great for the state of Illinois. It's great for the directional universities. To have us in the same conference playing is, I think, a big positive in every aspect. You've already seen, kind of the rivalries develop in the other sports, whether it be men's and women's basketball or soccer or baseball, whatever the case may be, volleyball. So football's obviously no exception to that. And a lot of the players on our team, know student athletes from Eastern and vice versa, guys that have played with each other, against each other in high school and camps and clinics and all that type of stuff in their careers. So really big positive, exciting, I think, for both schools and both programs. And, very, very excited to prepare and host, again, an excellent team coming here on Saturday.
And we'll see after Saturday, but the fans too, right? Do the fans get a little bit extra out of this? Because they know the people and they have friends who are fans of the other program, et cetera.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Both towns are very similar in terms of size. I think the alumni base all have a pretty good bead on how the programs are doing from week to week and season to season. There's carryover in both towns. There's folks that went to Eastern here in Macomb and vice versa, or folks that have lived in both places. So again, I think it all adds to it and creates a really, really positive rivalry for this game.
Perfect, Coach. Appreciate your time. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Kyle.